Yo, welcome back to the Gym Podcast. I'm Miller,
I'm Gav.
and today we are doing a Tuesday night recap of all the NBA games. Um, First up, we're going to talk about the Lakers and Timberwolves, the ones everyone wants to talk about. What were your takeaways from this game, too, Gav?
Yeah, so I actually liked what I saw um from both teams in different aspects.
Yes.
Um I liked the fight in the T-Wolves. They had some a couple calls. I wouldn't say lost them the game, but there was some unfortunate calls that didn't go their way, and the game got a little ticky tacky, which is not how the first couple games have been in
Yeah.
this playoff weekend. I can take a second to
100%.
applaud the refs and all the I've loved watching this physical basketball that's being played. And tonight was physical as well,
Yeah.
but it was a little ticky tacky at times. Um, but Luca, I
Yeah.
mean, he's gonna retire, and we're gonna talk about him as one of the all time great playoff performers. I mean, right now he's second to Michael Jordan in points per game in the playoffs all time.
Yeah.
Um, I don't see that dropping anytime soon. Maybe only going up. And 37 in the first game, and was an assist away from a triple double tonight. And I think one thing that the Lakers found is a recipe for success in this series, which is scary if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves. Um, Getting attacking mismatches is what they did at a very elite level. And I know you and me are not Rudy fans, but I just don't understand how he has 4 defensive player of the years, and it's like the notion every time in the playoffs is we can't have him out there because at the end of the game, when it's time to close, they're going to ISO him.
I, I will say today, I thought he closed the game defensively very, very
He
well.
did better on Luca and players like that than I've seen him
Yeah.
do in the past. But I think another reason that I will say that is also, and this is why the Lakers, if they can get going, are scary as well. Not that the Timberwolves shot any better; they both teams shot around 20% tonight from
Yeah.
three, which was terrible. But Austin Reeves 0 for 6, Luka Doncic 2 for 8, LeBron not shooting the three. Like, this Lakers team gave Vincent 2 in the first half, and went scoreless from there. But the Lakers, if they can get going from deep, are very scary. And the Timberwolves had their game; they shot 20 tonight. I'm looking that hopefully the Lakers, one of these two games in Minnesota, can get hot from three. And obviously Reeves is better than 0 for 6, Luka's better than 2 for 8, but um give credit to Rudy Gobert closing better than he usually does on Luka and making some of those shots difficult. And then with the Minnesota Timberwolves, um, as much as I say Julius Randle is not a playoff performer,
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge that with his play style and the way he plays, and with his strength being the Lakers' weakness, I think that there's no way he doesn't play good in the
Yeah.
rest of this series.
Yeah.
I don't see a world where Julius Randle has a bad game as long as he's playing as hard and not settling, because there is nobody when LeBron's on the bench that can guard him at all.
No. No.
So that was some of my takeaways from the game. And uh yeah, I do think that the Lakers, it was evident they played with a lot more intensity
Absolutely.
on the defensive end, which was huge. And as much as JJ Redick wanted to say that it was, schematically there was schematic changes that were you saw in the Lakers
Yeah.
defensive adjustments tonight, and offensively they attacked matchups much better than they did in game 1. So those were the two things I think schematically, whether JJ Redick wants to admit it or not, he changed, and it got them this win.
Absolutely. I think Luka in that first quarter defensively from the Lakers is the reason they won this game. Rest of the game, if you probably scale it out as far as score goes, it was probably even the whole rest of the game.
Yeah.
Minnesota got in foul trouble early, which these were all fouls. And I will say for the refs, like if you want to step into the ref shoes, the
Yeah.
fact that you have to deal with the young Minnesota Timberwolves who probably do foul a lot, and then you have
Yeah.
to deal on the other side with Luka Doncic barking at you the whole game,
Tough job.
you're gonna have some tough games. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna chalk that up as just a rough game for the refs.
Yeah.
Not very good calls, but it was bad calls both ways, and that's
Yeah.
what we always talk about. If you're gonna be bad, be
Be
bad both
consistently.
ways. Exactly. So I'm not gonna talk about the refs much. On the Timberwolves side, I'm kind of with you. Julius Randle getting off to a great start is extremely important for this team because it's going to determine the flow of how he plays for the rest of this series. If he came out and shot horribly these first two games, that's how the rest of the series will go. And Julius Randle, he probably played the best possible game you could play in game one with 7 turnovers. You probably wouldn't know if you watched the game. He had 7 turnovers because
Yeah,
he was that good. But I don't know. I feel like this series is getting good, man.
it
Because
is.
once again, I feel like Austin Reeves hasn't picked up his play quite yet, especially in first halves. In first halves, I feel like he's been abysmal. He needs to start bringing it more
Yeah, it
on
was a
defense.
great second half from
Yeah,
him.
it was a great second half. Um, but Mike Conley had 0 in this one. DiVincenzo had 4. He couldn't play very much. Alexander Walker with 4. Naz Reid with 9. You can't have that as the Minnesota Timberwolves. You need at least one of those guys to get into the double digits to have a chance to win. But what this proved to me is that the Lakers can win in games where they're not shooting well, in gritted out games, tough games. In moments, they can play defense. In moments, they can do all of these things. So that's going to be important for this team going down the stretch, playing teams like OKC. If they end up having to play a team like Golden State, if they end up having to play a team like the Clippers or the Nuggets, that's going to be important.
Yes.
I thought Jake said something interesting in our group chat today. I do wonder how long and how spotty that defensive intensity and that hustle will last with this team
Yeah.
because with I felt like Luka's legs kind of withered down the stretch, and his whole career it's been first quarter he's gonna go get 20. So I'm never surprised when I see a huge Luka Doncic's first quarter, and usually he's very big time too. I'm not trying to take that away from him, but
Yeah.
down the stretch he's a little bit less effective because his first quarters are so great. And LeBron James in this game, if you watched he set the tone from the absolute tip off of him
Yeah.
sitting down on defense, hustling, getting on loose balls, blocking stuff. I feel like he ended this game when he stole the ball from Anthony Edwards and when they had a transition
Yeah.
and he got a layup. I feel like that's where the game ended tonight. So props to LeBron, props to this intensity, but I am interested to see how often they bring it because if they bring it like this, they're a scary team and
Yeah, they
obviously
are. And I think, like I said in at previous times, I think they bring it at the right times. You're down one, and I said this before the game. I'm gonna know all I need to know about the Lakers after the first half, not even the full game, the
yeah.
first half of this game. And it was at the end of the first quarter. I'm like, okay, I've seen enough. I was watching it with my boys, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen enough. And they answered the challenge. They answered the call. They were down. You need to come back, win a game, split it, go 2-1-1 going into Minnesota. And then also, I think the Lakers and LeBron has a luxury that he's never had in his entire career of Luka can do the first quarter thing, the second quarter thing, and have 22 at halftime.
Yeah.
And, then take a committee for the third quarter to scoring wise. And LeBron can be your closer
Yeah.
on honestly sometimes both ends, making big blocks, having a steal against Anthony Edwards on the fast break, and scoring. And he showed that at times a lot this year when ever since the Luka trade during the regular season. But now that I saw that in spurts of this game, I think that's going to be a trend. And game one was hard to judge. This was a little easier to judge, but um I still want to see what team is better in closing time. What team is better? What team is better with 4 minutes to go tie a game? And I haven't got to see that yet.
I was actually that was going to be my next point.
Yeah.
I need to see these teams punching back and forth because I want to see what type of offensive sets, what type of offensive sets that they get into with JJ Redick.
Yes.
Because tonight I thought they went with what they were going with all game, get the mismatch on Rudy Gobert.
Yep.
But is that going to be the most effective method come closing time when Luka might be tired of already doing Rudy Gobert for 30 in the first half? Is that the most effective method to scoring points? And in this one, I really wonder because it didn't seem like the Lakers. First off, the Lakers competed their ass off again once tonight, getting offensive rebounds, multiple possessions. That was important for them. But as far as getting into their initial sets, obviously the Luka mismatch is gold, but I didn't see anything special from them. And on the other side, I saw Anthony Edwards have a couple turnovers. I saw Julius Randle have a couple turnovers. I need to see in crunch time who's the most dominant team. And I feel like when we see that, that'll tell us who's going to win this series because that's what game sevens are.
And I think schematically, what I want to see from the Minnesota Timberwolves defensively is kind of what you saw with game one. Luka, 1 assist, 37. Yeah, you had
Yeah.
37, but when the Lakers are at their best is when everybody else is going.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, LeBron, 3 assists. So you make these guys like kind of the opposite of the Clippers Nugget series. Don't let them play make.
Yes.
Let Rui, none. Austin Reeves, none. And make LeBron and Luka beat you. Just them
Absolutely.
two.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that tonight. As good as Luka was on the offensive end scoring, when he was at his best was his 9 assists.
Yeah.
His playmaking, because everyone else got involved. You get Gabe Vincent with 6, you get Austin Reeves with 16, you get Rui going with a cut at the end of the half. All of that stuff is why the Lakers are going to win the title. And well,
Lakers.
if they were to win a title, it would
Yeah.
be because of stuff like that. It's not just Luka
Uh,
scoring and LeBron scoring. Sorry, no, I don't have to win the title. But that would be a way that you're going to do that. You're not going to beat them scoring, even if you score 40 and 40. Like, you have to get the others going. And that's what makes Jokic so good. I mean, if Jokic just had 30 with 5 assists, then you did great on Jokic. Well, if Jokic had 20 with 12 assists, you didn't do good. Like, the assist is what makes some of these guys as elite as they are.
Absolutely. So I still got Timberwolves in 7 or
Yeah.
Lakers in 7. Sorry, whoa. I don't have the Timberwolves winning this series, but it's looking good, man. I do wonder also in Game 3. I just want to see the home crowd, and I want to see the home crowd in a lot of these games. A lot of these split series, even Bucks and Pacers, which we're about to get into right now. I need to see a Game 3 where it's at another home crowd. But Bucks Pacers, give me a rundown on that game.
I started to question, okay, can the Pacers close? Because that's my one question with the Pacers. Is Siakam your closer? I'm sitting there watching the game. I'm like, Nembhard might be their closer.
Bro, I'm telling you, I made a video about this guy. He is elevating.
He's good. He's good.
He's good.
He's elevating in the playoffs, which we love to see, and we rarely see it. But I love Tyrese Halliburton is going to be one of these players that is so hard to rank.
Yeah.
Because he is not the most elite scorer. He scored the ball tonight. Game 1, he didn't. But he is what gets that offense going. And yes, Luka has assists, LeBron has assists, Jokic has assists. But what they don't do that Tyrese Halliburton does, he just makes the pace of the game so fast.
Yes.
And it's run and gun, and we're hitting a lot of threes, and I'm getting a lot of kickouts. And you don't see a lot of players in the NBA that, truly are comfortable with always making the right play.
Yeah.
And, he has I think I should shoot the shot in this. No, it doesn't matter what the time and score is. If there's an open man, he's kicking it to him. He's always making plays for his teammates. And I just love watching Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's an underrated point guard in the league that will probably never get his credit because he's not going to have these Brunson playoff games where you get 30 every single time it matters, which that's not him. But he runs Rick Carlisle's system at an elite level.
Yes.
And but the Bucks, Grizzlies, there's more organizations I could think of, but you panicked. You panicked with your roster construction. You cannot tell me that right now in the current Eastern Conference, if you had a core of Giannis, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez, let's say you didn't have Dame. Let's say you had Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that you wouldn't. It would be y'all in Boston, and with Tatum hurt right now,
you never know.
Y'all could make a run at the championship. So I don't know. I think same thing with the Grizzlies. You gave up Smart, you gave up Dylan Brooks. There's a lot of these players that I'm not the hugest fan of Dylan Brooks, but I can tell you that he would help them right now. And a lot of these, and you overreacted to you lost to the Lakers and you get rid of Brooks. You announce you're not keeping him. But with the Bucks, Kuzma as your number 3 offense, I just don't love their roster construction, and I think on the coaching side, maybe not even just coaching, but their system offensively is just better. And the Bucks don't have a roster that can abuse the fact that the Pacers do suck on defense. Like if you
They
just watch,
suck.
they're terrible. I saw Brunson give this team 40, like killed them last year. I saw Celtics. Any player that wanted could have had their way with them.
Yeah.
For the most part, this team is easy to abuse if they're playing the right team on the offensive end, but Milwaukee just can't abuse it
No.
because they don't have the elite perimeter shooting. And they're honestly bailing Indiana out by taking a lot of isolation or not hitting multiple sides on the offensive end.
Yeah.
So a team that is bad defensively and that is their weakness, you're not abusing that at all.
Absolutely.
And they abused it for a spurt. And talk about another playoff riser, Bobby Portis.
Absolutely. 28 points.
Yeah, and he's done this his whole career in the playoffs. Hit the catch and shoot, hit very big shots. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this game.
So I'll get into what I thought was wrong with the Bucks' defensive game plan real quick. The amount of dribble penetration the Pacers got was absolutely from the get go. I mean, 40-point first quarter. Because with this starting lineup, you're picking on Dame. You're picking on Dame 100% of the time, and Brook Lopez couldn't stop any dribble drive that Tyrese Halliburton driving them, Nembhard driving them. They couldn't stop it. Brook Lopez had a couple blocks tonight though, crazy blocks. He was rim protecting very well, but he can't. He's 40 years old. He can't guard out there anymore.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the situation. People like AJ Green, easy dribble penetration. Kevin Porter Jr. That's not the greatest defender. I thought Kevin Porter Jr. was absolutely atrocious tonight. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Getting a technical, just doing a lot of losing. I'm not gonna lie, they do a lot of losing things.
Yeah, they just doing a lot of stupid stuff. 4 of 9. It felt like he had a couple turnovers. He wasn't great. And the 4 people that I thought played decent enough tonight were Brook Lopez, championship roster, Bobby Portis, championship roster, Giannis, and Dame. I thought in his comeback game, it wasn't great. It wasn't Dame, but he didn't look out of place, I'll say. And going back home, I still trust him to elevate his play going into next game. Other than that, Torian Prince, 6 points. Gary Trent Jr., 4 points. Kevin Porter Jr., 9 points. AJ Green, 0 points. Jericho Sims, 0 points. That's what you're dealing with right now. And we haven't even talked about how dominant Giannis has looked in this series. This is a dominant Giannis Antetokounmpo series, and they are down 0-2. This might be the best I've seen Giannis play in his entire career, honestly.
I'm telling you, whatever the superstar is on a team that, like, for instance, if Brunson were to play this Pacers, who do the Pacers have next round, assuming?
The Cavs. So
Donovan Mitchell is going to have his way next series.
He's going to have games.
And like I said, I think, I mean, this game 3 is a must win for the Bucks, obviously.
And I think they will. I do think they will. I thought the flow of this game was interesting because I texted you in the middle of it. Indiana, it felt like was getting anything they want offense, anything. I mean, anything. Literally put back, offensive rebound, open threes, anything they wanted. And Milwaukee was somehow keep staying in it. And honestly, I think that was just because of Giannis. But if Giannis can maintain this greatness, I think Indiana is one of
He will. There's no one.
Yeah. And let me say real quick, Indiana, along with like Madison Square Garden, I would probably throw Oklahoma City. I would throw them in there. Best crowds in basketball.
Well, I don't want to just say OKC and Indiana. I want to say there's a difference between the small market and the Lakers.
Yes.
I mean, Luka with the Mavs in playoff games was just electric.
It was crazy.
And with LA, it's just like you don't have people wearing the T-shirt that they give out.
Yeah, it's front row. There's celebrities.
Yeah, it's front row. There's celebrities wearing the nicest outfits, and just I'm not gonna lie, something about every single player that I can see on the TV wearing a white OKC shirt or a yellow Pacers shirt, just stuff like that. It just increases the playoff vibes, and I love it.
And it helps the Pacers. I feel like it helps the Pacers more than any team in basketball. I'm not gonna lie. Their home crowd,
their vibes are amazing.
It gets loud. You can hear it through the telecast. Man. I mean, Giannis shooting free throws tonight every single time. 1, 2, they're counting to 10.
There's a dude with a ticker He has
Yeah, I
like a
saw.
he's a bro.
I
That is
saw that.
funny. That is
It's
funny.
it's hilarious. But I
Yeah.
do have. Who do you have in Game 3? Let's give a matter of fact. Let's go back to the Lakers game real quick. Who do you have in that Game 3, real quick?
Game three, I got the Lakers. I
Okay.
think they'll start to hit some more shots.
Okay.
Not shoot 20% from the field. I think Luka's going to show up in every single game this series. I think LeBron, even though he ended up with 20 something, and I think offensively he'll be even better.
Yeah.
I don't think he was amazing tonight. A lot of bunnies that he usually gets at the rim he didn't get.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I got the Lakers in game three, and then once again, you got a must win in game four for the Wolves that I think they will win. But my Lakers in five is still not as far of a reach as I think it is. I think there is a very possible way that this ends in 5 or 6.
I think Minnesota is definitely gonna win a game in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Minnesota's gonna win Game 3. I think Lakers are gonna. I think opposite of you. And in this Bucks series, I got the Bucks winning Game 3, 100%. By the way, guys.
And I'm not gonna lie. I think I might have. It's tough to say Pacers in 6 because that sixth game is in Milwaukee. So
Yeah.
there's a very possible way that this ends in 5 in Indiana, back in Indiana.
I mean, that's very. I can see the Pacers still in the game in Milwaukee for sure.
And then just going back winning at home for sure. Yeah, I think
Absolutely.
they might win game 4 and 5.
Absolutely. By the way,
Because
guys, I haven't got a single playoff pick in any game wrong other than the Nuggets and Clipper series, which proved that both games I got that wrong, which proves that is the best series in this entire playoff.
nah, it
series.
is.
The most
It is.
evenly matched, I will say, because
And
Pistons.
I think yeah. No,
Matter of fact, go ahead. I just want to know real quick. Give me your 3 favorite playoff series, and I know some teams have played one game. Just give me the most fun you've had, the 3 series that you've had the most fun watching so far.
Detroit and New York.
Yes,
That's
that
not
is
number one.
90s. That is
Yeah.
so 90s.
Yes, physical.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful basketball, man. That's
Definitely Lakers.
Yeah, we said we didn't want to get into the stuff that happened yesterday. Jalen Brunson, okay, you are one of my favorite players. This foul baiting stuff, I'm not. Look, you know, I give players because Shea is the most crucified for it, but Jalen Brunson took it to another level yesterday.
Yeah.
Like absolutely throwing his head back, flopping. I wonder. I know they initiated a rule to where it's like you give the text for flopping. At a certain point next year, let's actually enforce that rule so we really get like playoff basketball. Because what Jalen Brunson did yesterday, and I don't blame him for it. Obviously, it's not his fault that he's doing. It's the refs' fault that they're giving it to him. But let's start enforcing that rule next year. I don't want to see it now because you might have players thrown out for how much they flop. But yeah, I do want to see that start to get enforced. But you said Lakers and Timberwolves, and then what's the other one?
I said late, and then Nuggets.
Nuggets. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Nuggets, but like a close fourth, and these are my 4 favorite series, and then it's a gap.
Yeah.
But my 4 it would be this Indiana series. The way Halliburton and Dame or Halliburton talks so much trash, I love it. And then the whole Luka and Ant both talking trash to the bench, each other, fans.
Exactly.
I'm loving. I mean, Luka's gonna talk crazy to someone in the front row next game. He just is. It's just a fact.
Golden State.
Yeah, that might end up being a great series. Hopefully, they can split there because you can't go down 0-2 going into Golden State.
And then let's go ahead and talk about Thunder and Grizzlies. Not a lot to talk about here. I'll start it off.
Yeah,
I know you. I don't know if you tuned in.
I watched the last couple minutes of the first half, last minutes of the second.
So the Grizzlies started making a run, but they're just not it. They don't have it. Offensively, Zach Edey 4 points. He is not there yet as a playoff player. He's not there.
No, he's just a rebounder.
Scottie Pippen Jr. not there yet. Honestly, everybody on this roster not named Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson, and John Morant, they're not ready. And I've heard a lot of
and they never will be. Let me state that.
Oh no, I agree. Never.
Yeah,
maybe Edey will be.
Maybe Edey, yeah, for sure. I think Edey will be. He could be an elite rebounder in this league. I mean, the way as a rookie he's been able to. I think.
What happened to Gigi Jackson?
I think he's hurt.
Oh, okay. It says DNP. Yeah. It says it DNP. I don't know. I'm just wondering.
Then yeah, that's crazy if they decided just not to play him.
But yeah, John Morant. Let me just go ahead and state that is not the issue with this roster. I've heard a lot of people ask the questions on should they move on. Maybe you should try to get a better player than John Morant, but John Morant is not a player at this stage of his career that you just simply move off of.
I think I would talk to the team with the number 1 pick.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair because if you have,
Because I do think that Ja watching him, not play style wise at all, just from ranking him, I don't think he could be a number one on a championship team. I don't. Um,
that's fair.
I I
Very
think,
fair.
but I think he could be an elite like Kyrie was to Bron
Yeah.
to someone else, and I don't know who that is, but I just think about some of the great forwards or bigs. I mean, if Ja Morant, I mean, if you were able to get Ja Morant with Jokic, or you were able to get Ja Morant with Giannis, I mean, you're talking about some serious stuff there.
Yeah.
Um, so I think I would put him in that category.
I think
But
it's,
no,
keep going.
but nah, that's all I would say. And then Edie's gonna develop, but other than that, I'm not a fan of a lot of these players.
I think when you have a situation when you have three players that are as good as Bain, Morant, and Jackson, sometimes it's good to have like that. I mean, they had the I forgot what their nickname was, but the Zach Randolph, Mike Conley, Marc Gasol,
Yeah,
Tony Allen, Grizzlies. Those were good years. I know they didn't win a championship, but those are some good years.
yeah,
I
those are some
think
good
I
years.
think you kind of want to return to that, maybe winning a playoff series or two. Um,
Yeah,
but you're never gonna, like you said, I don't think with John Moran as a one, you can really get to
yeah.
that mountaintop.
And then I'll see like a lot of overreactions to some of these players. Cade Cunningham, game one, bounces back. Shea in game two, I'm seeing a lot of stuff on social media. He shot 10 for 29. It is game two against the Grizzlies, and they got a 20-point win.
Yeah,
Tatum shooting splits are terrible. You got a 20-point win, and you had 15 rebounds and had play made. You made a very big impact on winning that game if you watched with your two eyes.
yeah,
Um, so I like what I'm seeing from a lot of the star. I don't feel like I've looked at any stars yet and been like, he
they're
just
playing
did.
horrible. Even
Yeah,
Harden.
so even Harden. So and with that series, do they play tomorrow or
No, so let's go ahead and get into that. Thunder dominated. I'll say my piece on the Thunder real quick.
okay?
Dominated again from front to back. They got close near like the middle of the third quarter, like 6 point.
Yeah,
You never actually felt like this Thunder team was in danger though. It was more like,
yeah,
all right, Memphis, we got to kind of put on a show because
yeah.
But yeah, OKC is gonna be very comfortable in this series. I feel like Memphis might still win at home just because it's at home,
I don't
but
think so.
yeah, we'll have to see.
It's
Um,
bad.
we're just gonna do a quick prediction on the three games tomorrow. First up, we got Magic and Celtics. Who do you have winning that one?
Jason Tatum not playing. Give me the Celtics still. I just think that Paulo played amazing.
Yeah,
And this is not a takeaway from Jason Tatum. He played great, but Jason Tatum didn't play his best game. Brown played bad. Porzingis only had 5 points. He's been elite for us even last year in the playoffs when he played. Um, I just don't see. I think Jaylen Brown's going to step up, even though I'm worried about this Celtics team injury. Porzingis does not have a great history of staying healthy. Drew Holiday has the finger issue, but like he's going to play through it, so I'm not really worried about that. But then you have, I'm not worried at all about Derek White and Pritchard.
I'm worried about Jalen Brown more than anybody.
I'm worried about Jaylen Brown with his knee
Yes.
getting injections, and I'm worried about Jason Tatum. This is not as bad, but in the same token of what he had when he played so bad against the Warriors in the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
hand, same injury. But I think it was broken in the finals. But this time it's a bone bruise that can linger. I wouldn't worry as later in the playoffs, but early I would. But I still would rest him. Like I wouldn't. I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't play him till we lose.
Yeah. I mean, let's remember there hasn't been a repeat champion in a very long time.
Eight,
I
nah.
think since the Warriors.
Yeah.
So, um,
Yeah, it went Warriors,
it's scary,
Raptors. Yeah.
but the problem is in the East, I see no team beating the Celtics. I don't care if
Not when healthy.
if any if one player is out, doesn't matter who it is. Honestly, even I know people love the Cavs. I have to see it. I have to
I'm
see
not
it.
gonna lie. I think without Tatum, the Cavs, because there's and the reason I say this is, the reason I say this is, now you have the best player in the series.
Yeah.
Now you had. I'm not gonna lie.
Jalen Brown.
But I've seen a lot of great things from Donovan Mitchell, and I don't think he gets enough credit because he's been in Cleveland and he's been in Utah, places where I don't think he's had a team around him. Great regular seasons, but not great players that can back him up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And not to say this team is one of those, but I think that, you know, Jared Allen, Mobley, like they have the pieces to where they can compete with the Boston. I just think what sets us apart is our 3-point shooting, and honestly, we have two guys in the conversation with your best guy. But with if Tatum's hurt, then
Yeah, that
but
goes there.
I think exactly.
I think the best chance to beat y'all in the East right now is actually the Pistons. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but I'm just saying in a world where y'all do get beat, the fact that I cannot see Cleveland beating y'all, and
For real?
no, no, no.
But
I
the
think Cleveland
Pistons
loses,
more than Pistons can't even close.
and hopefully I stick to my guns on this one. But I think if Cleveland sees Indiana in the second round, I think Indiana will win that series.
So you think you have a rematch in the conference finals?
And
Okay.
I know people don't want to see that, but
Yeah.
that offense is something scary. And let's not. I'm gonna get to the Cavs when we get to their game. Actually, we're gonna get to their game right now. I have the Magic. I have the Magic winning this one. This is why. Jason Tatum isn't playing. The two games y'all lost in the Eastern Conference last year were at home. They were in game twos, I believe. I think I'm
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
To the Heat and to
and the
the
Cavs, I believe,
Cavs.
in the Cavs.
Yeah.
So I think this is the game y'all lose. I think it's 5, but I think this is the game y'all lose based on the fact that Franz Wagner did score a good amount of points, but he had a horrible game. I felt like in game one, and nobody else on that roster realized that you have to put the basketball in the basket. So I think they will be a little bit better, and that will be enough to beat y'all without a Jason Tatum, just based off the way the Orlando Magic guard. I mean, they guard. That's one thing I will give them. But on that offensive side of the ball, they're probably worse than the Rockets. So
Yeah, they are.
they just have one more, but they have a bucket getter. But other than that, it's really, 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 really bad. But let's go ahead and predict the next go Cavs and Heat. Who do you have winning that one?
Yeah, I think give me the Cavs. I want to say the Heat have a chance, but it's just and if they had Jimmy, I might take them to win this series.
Oh, for sure. I
But
would.
they just don't. Tyler Hero's not a one.
No,
Bam is not a one either when they're trying to do like
no,
offensively. Bam's honestly not a two offensively on a team that wants to beat a number one seed.
nah.
So I just don't think they have enough firepower to compete with a team that once again they're at home. I mean Cleveland's environment was crazy in game one as well, another small market team. So yeah, I just think if they're gonna get a game, it has to be in Miami.
Yeah, and I think they'll get a game in Miami, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
But let's go to the last game: Rockets and Warriors. Who do you have winning in game two?
Yeah, I have Rockets bouncing back. I have them once again winning the rebounding war, and like they did in Game One, I think they'll do that almost every game in this series. And I also think that I'm just banking on, not that I have evidence that Jalen Green and Fred Van Vliet will shoot not even good, but remotely better.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a big series for Sengun. He's he played great in game.
No one can guard him on that team.
No, I don't think there's not a lot of people. You're gonna have to give me like a Giannis or you're gonna have. There's like a unique type of athleticism and length that you're gonna have to guard Sengun.
Yeah,
And not just length because I think like a Rudy Gobert would struggle against him with
because
his
he's
foot.
big. He's strong, man. It's yeah.
Yeah. So it would take a unique type of player to lock up Sengun, I feel like, and I think he's gonna have a big series. Unless Draymond answers that challenge a little better than he did in game one. Um, but yeah, I think also kind of the same thing how I'm very confident in the Nuggets to beat the Clippers. It's because I think when these games get close, I'm gonna really, really, really trust the Warriors over the Rockets to close games.
Do you
Um,
still have the Rockets in 7? That changed that quick after first game. You can't.
and the reason it
Bet
changed for
on them
me.
guys.
No,
No,
no, no, no,
Gav.
no. The
No, no, no,
reason
no,
it
no, no,
changed
no,
for
no,
me.
no, 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 Gav. Let me speak real quick. I'm not gonna let you do this. I'm gonna explain to you why you should not do this. Okay. Let's stick to these predictions because I will sweep you and all of these things if you don't keep it true to your initial picks. Okay. The Houston Rockets played the worst offensive basketball that has ever been played in a playoff game since I've been alive.
Yeah.
And they were ready to storm back and beat this team with iconic Stephen Curry performance and an iconic Jimmy Butler performance. And that should say something, and is what I've been saying about this roster. They have nobody else. They absolutely have nobody else. Funny enough, Moses Moody and Pods hit some clutch shots down the stretch, but that still means nothing to me. I don't believe that this team, with against this Houston defense, I don't. I'm ready to flip my pick from Golden State in 7. Now I'm not going to do that because
Yeah. I don't.
I'm staying true to what I said. But there's no way the Rockets play worse than they did offensively.
Yeah,
And
I don't. Actually, you're right, and I don't want to flip just yet. But one thing I will say is there are some things that the Rockets did extremely well, and I don't want to compare the Rockets to the. I do actually kind of offensively want to compare the Rockets to the Magic.
yes,
It's not as bad,
the
but
Magic of the
one
West.
thing I will say is these committee, other than the Boston Celtics, the committee scoring has not worked very well for a lot of these teams come playoff time because you need a guy or two that, without a play, without a system, like go get a bucket. And Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet don't have the shot creation that the two guys for the Warriors have. And one thing that is elite for the Rockets is getting out in transition, getting out in the fast break. I mean, you saw Steve Kerr mic'd up even say it in a timeout. We can't, they can't beat us.
Yeah,
Like they, if in a half court set they can't score on us.
yeah.
He said they can't score on us. Secure the rebound before you get going. Like everyone come in and secure the rebound because that's what the Warriors are gonna have to focus on, rebounding, and they're gonna struggle with it with Steven Adams, Sengun, Thompson crashing the
Steven
glass.
Adams had a game.
Yeah, and he's gonna rebound well against them every single time because your 5 is Draymond.
Yeah,
So yeah, I just think that it's really gonna be a coaching battle. I think
I'll be,
there's gonna be a lot of adjustments that are gonna have to be made during this series. And like I said, I don't think that Jalen Green and Van Vliet shoot that bad again. I think we're tied going back to Golden State.
well. I think Jalen Green is going to have a horrendous series, based on the fact that I don't think he's a very good player. I think the closing lineup for the Rockets is going to have to be Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, Jabari Smith, and the two bigs. And Jabari Smith is going to be important for him to get some playoff experience. He hit a couple shots in that first game. Amen Thompson, it seemed like he was getting more comfortable as the game went along because, once again, he was horrendous in the early stretches. But Jalen Green, man, Jalen Green seems like he has absolutely no idea what he wants to do offensively. Like, absolutely, he
He
has
seemed like freaking out almost, like
like
just
that's the vibe he
no
gave me.
poise to his game.
And it really, if you really think about it, even since high school, there hasn't been. I mean, there's no skill to him scoring. It's get downhill with your right hand, elevate, hit a
I
jump
wouldn't say
shot.
there's no skill because he's in a great jump. I would say there's no pace. There's no and
Pace is the right. Yes, I
There's no
agree.
pace because
Yeah.
he can shoot the ball, he can dunk, he can hit the midi, he can do all these things, but there's no pace. And when he can't change his pace at all. It's easy to guard, especially come playoff time when you just throw a Jimmy Butler on this guy, you throw a Moody on this guy, he's gonna struggle. I think not, and the Warriors once again they did this, and it slowed down a lot of guys like Thompson and Jalen Green in the early parts of the game.
Yeah.
They just took out the fast break.
Yes.
Let's just make this a half court game. And when the Nuggets went like game one, it's crazy. Game two, I was so confident the Nuggets were gonna win. They lost. Game one, I was confident the Nuggets were gonna lose. They won. Because of the pace of the game. When the game is slowed down, like really slow, come down on a set. I love the Nuggets and I love the Warriors. When the game is fast break, up and down, up and down, I don't like either of those teams.
The
And
Nuggets are the best fast break team in the league.
the Nuggets,
Yes.
you think?
No, it's not. It's statistically they're the best fast break team in the league. It's crazy.
That probably, but I feel like a lot of that is Jokic pitch. Like
It's Jokic pitch, and then you got Brown, Aaron Gordon.
I think what I
Russell
mean
Westbrook,
essentially is when
athletes.
the other team
Yeah.
is, because teams like the Warriors and the Nuggets who are not extremely elite defensively.
Yeah.
How do I put it? They they're adding to their weakness on the defensive end and making it a fast break game. So yes, offensively, I love both those teams on the fast break. I even love the Warriors on the fast break on offense.
Yeah.
But when the other team is on a fast break,
That makes sense.
yeah, I don't love it for them. So when the pace is like that, I guess I don't like it. But yeah, I guess I wouldn't hate if the Nuggets or the Warriors were on fast breaks. But yeah.
By the way, Jalen Green, I know I'm trying not to, bro. This was my favorite high school player back in the day. I'm not gonna lie, but I think they need to look at him being the main piece in that package for Kevin Durant, because if they get Kevin Durant, they're winning a championship. There's no doubt in my mind. With this roster, this defense, Amen Thompson developing, Fred VanVleet running your point guard, Alperen Sengun.
Amen Thompson could. I just want to say this right now. Amen Thompson could end up being the best player on this team.
Yes, yeah. If he gets a midi, I absolutely believe it. He's too talented defensively. That's
he's one of the greatest athletes I've seen.
Yes,
his ability, like the stuff he does. If you just watch his season highlight, his defensive highlights of getting bumped and just recovering with it, like it's amazing to watch, and it's almost 6'6" Giannis like.
Yeah, except
honestly.
I mean he's faster, quicker, a little bit switchier.
Yeah.
Man, it's like. Watching the Rockets in that game one was almost like just a very big, like, it's like you were watching a football team playing basketball in high school. Like, they didn't have enough basketball players at the school, so they just told all their great football athletes, hey, let's come out here, let's play some ball. They were going to shoot the ball up, get offensive rebounds, and try again. That was their game plan offensively. Get offensive rebounds, put it up, try again. I don't know how many offensive rebounds Steven Adams. I mean, Steven Adams was picking the ball off the floor on offensive rebounds, getting it out to his guys. So that's something I feel like the Warriors should be scared about. And I know a lot of people were motivated by seeing the Rockets' offense being so lackluster. I didn't have the same takeaway. I found it to be why the Warriors did not blow them out more. They had 30. I think they had 34 points
because of the rebound disparity.
And that's what it was.
I mean, it's the same thing tonight, and I didn't even get to talk about it. But the Lakers how do the Lakers out rebound the?
That's embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
That should never happen.
That should never happen with the Lakers. No, sir. I completely agree with that. That's an effort thing, and that's kind of what happened with the Nuggets. And
I mean, Rudy Gobert around half had one board.
Rudy Gobert was in most of the fourth quarter as well. So
and he only ended up with 6. Like Luka can't out rebound you,
and that's probably
LeBron can't out rebound you. Like
to be fair, Rudy Gobert is getting put in switch actions the entire time, so he's not in the paint. But everybody else, I mean, I thought Julius Randle did have a couple. He's been fighting his ass off in this series, but I thought he had a couple low effort plays down the stretch. He allowed a back cut to I think Dorian Finney-Smith in the first half. Luka Nova.
He did.
He had some very low effort, and that you're going to get that from Julius Randle, unfortunately. But yeah, man, it was a great night of basketball, and I'm looking forward to another one tomorrow. Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.